Okay, so side bends on the ladder barrel, probably one of the more challenging parts of this exercise is setting up your clients so that they're not getting excessive pressure and discomfort on the hip that's on the barrel side. So most definitely we can use some thin pads just to support and bulk up a little bit, but you also want to pay attention to where the barrel is in relationship to their leg or that side of their leg, and also are they connecting strongly into those lower body stabilizers. So generally speaking, when I set a client up on the ladder barrel for this particular exercise, I'm trying to get them so that the pressure is just directly below the hip socket. So I'm not in that actual place putting pressure, but I'm placing pressure just slightly below at the top of the femur on the side. And you can get a little bit more details on that in our teaching clients section of the resource catalog. The second thing you want to really be thinking about is cueing your clients to get that strong endurance and that sustained connection in their adductors, their external rotators, and their hip extensors. So when those muscles are working collectively to really support the lower body, then the pelvis is going to be in a more optimal place. It's not going to drop forward into that anterior tilt. They're going to have a lot more connection across their abdominals at the front to be able to execute the exercise properly. Now, there's different ways that you can place the hands. We can either start with a low lever or shortened lever across the chest, or you can bring them to the forehead and progress them into that longer lever. And then ultimately, of course, you want to have them holding on to the dowel, reaching that overhead. And again, that's a progression in and of itself. So get that basic movement and then start to challenge your clients more with how you're placing their arms. So I'm going to keep my hands at the forehead and I'm setting up so my bottom foot is on that second bottom rung, and that generally is the place for most clients, remembering that if the barrel can slide away, then do so for your taller clients or bring it in for your tinier clients. So bringing myself onto the barrel, so there I am, I'm just below the hip joint, putting pressure onto my femur, and I'm really pushing through that foot. So I'm feeling my adductors, I'm feeling this wrap around this bottom leg into my glute, and then this leg, I'm externally rotating and I'm wrapping around the front and hooking it just below the opposite foot. So right here, that connection, I'm feeling those abdominals pull up, my lower back lengthen, and then with the hand placement, I'm going to interlace my hands and place them at the forehead. And that just gives me a little bit more support across my shoulder girdle at the back. So going into that half range first, I want to just make sure that when I do this, as my lever gets longer, my legs work even more. And then exhale. What I like to cue my clients as they're coming in towards the ladder is to really feel like they're moving the opposite elbow, so this elbow up towards the ceiling. So I'm thinking about opening up the underneath side, squeezing the legs. So let's do one more in this half range, and then from here, taking it down to the full. And so this, of course, is where as your client starts to go lower to the floor, cue them to work their legs even more, reminding them to keep the abdominals drawing up so that we can stabilize the pelvis, and taking that inhale, almost visualizing like a ball rolling from one side of the rib cage to the other. So inhale to the top side, exhale to that opening side. So again, a lot of different areas that you can connect your clients with, but what you really want to make sure of is that the stability is there, the endurance is there, and that they're able to access all of that before they're actually getting into the exercise.